Let's talk about what I'm knitting for the holidays. Hello and welcome to Knit Cheek. My name is Natalie and I am the cheek behind Knit Cheek, and today we are talking about my winter plans, what I'm knitting for the holidays, and I have one finished object that is the perfect last minute gift knit. I already feel like I'm losing my voice for some reason, and so I made myself a cup of tea even though it is, no joke, 80 degrees here in Southern California. I don't know what is happening, but it is 80 degrees here. The last 2 days have been unseasonably warm. I'm actually okay in my house because my heater is broken and my house hasn't heated back up, and it's not like hot enough outside for it to get too warm in here. So I'm wearing a sweater. I don't need to be wearing a sweater. It's not like that cold, but I have been actually getting a lot of wear out of my knitwear because my heater's not working. In my last video, I did a stash reset and I organized my physical stash and my Ravelry queue. And everyone was like, Natalie, we want to see your Ravelry queue. Can you go through it? And I was like, yes, of course. I'm here to make the people happy. I am lying. Only one person asked me, but it was a good idea, so I'm going to do it. So in today's episode, I'm going to show you my finished object, 3 whips. Those are not all of my whips, but I'm just going to show you the 3 whips that I am knitting for the holidays. They're kind of festive. They're green. And they're bringing me some holiday cheer. So that's what we're talking about today. And then I'm also going to go through the Ravelry queue. Let's remember to talk about what I am wearing today, which I am really, really bad at remembering to talk about, but I remembered today. This is my Sweater 18 by My Favorite Things Knitwear, and it is knit up in Juniper Moon Cashmere. I can't actually remember the name. It's a cashmere blend, but it's a good amount of cashmere. It is an absolute dream. It's super soft. I wear this all the time inside. I absolutely love it. And I actually filmed a 3-part vlog, like Vlogmas last year, of me trying to knit this in 3 weeks. And you'll have to see if I was able to knit it in 3 weeks. I'm building suspense here. But I tried to knit it for Christmas last year, and it is an Aran weight sweater, so it's a relatively quick knit. Yeah, if you want some more festive knitting content, I will link that series below in the description for your enjoyment. I need a spot to put my tea bag. Okay, nothing nearby. All right, let's start off with my finished object. These are my Ooey Gooey mitts, and this was a test knit for Andrea Mowry. I actually knit these for Mr. Cheek, so it's even more festive because this is his Christmas present. Yeah, these are really quick. Let me tell you the stats on these because I'm super prepared and I have that open already. Just kidding, give me a second. Beep, 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 beep. I started these on November 13th and I finished them on December 1st, which was a total of 18 days. The test window was 3 weeks, which is fine. They're mittens, they're relatively quick. It took me 10.5 hours to knit the first mitten, and then I forgot to tie my second mitten, but I'm pretty sure I was around like a little bit over 20 hours, maybe 21 hours. So we're gonna call it 20 hours. So these took me 20 hours to knit. I made the size 3, but I was a little bit off gauge, so they're a little bit smaller than they're supposed to be. Or one is way smaller. Give me a second, I'll get into that. US size 0 and US size 1 needle, and the yarn that I'm using is Woolly Thistle Rambler, which was actually gifted to me quite a while ago by Woolly Thistle. And the colors, okay, the green one is Pine. The orange one, I'm not 100%, and I don't think that they have it in stock right now, which is why I've tried to look up the name and I can't remember what it was. But the green one is Pine. I will try to remember to put the name of this here. This was a test knit. I knit the first mitten and it's perfect. It fits Mr. Cheek perfectly. If you look at the photos of me wearing it, they do look a little bit big, and that's because I knit them for Mr. Cheek and he has a much longer hand than I do. But he likes his knits snug, his mitts snug. So they actually fit me fine width-wise, but just the length, they're I have a little extra room up there. So here's the drama with the mitts, and it's 100% my fault, but I accidentally knit the second mitt, the whole mitten in US size 0 needle because I'm not used to having a ribbing needle for mittens. I haven't knit that many mittens, but I knit a lot of socks and I've never like had to switch needles between my ribbing and the rest of the body of the sock. So I think I was in that mode and I forgot to switch my needle. This one right here is definitely smaller than the other one. I actually weighed them and they weigh the exact same amount. 29 grams. I'm sure if I had a more accurate scale, if we were doing like milligrams, is that the right term? So they're really similar weight. Mr. Cheek can definitely tell when he's wearing them that one is smaller and a bit tighter for him to like be able to move his fingers around. I am planning on re-knitting that. I was really tempted to rip it out and redo it right away. And I think I could have done it, but I was just a little nervous because it was a test that I wouldn't have time or something would happen and that I would have an unfinished mitt. So I was like, I'm just gonna take the photos of it, hope that it's not too noticeable in the photos, and then afterwards I'm gonna rip them out and re-knit the one smaller mitt. So that's my plan with these. I will show you some photos of these. I actually don't think that you can tell that they're two different sizes. It's really more of a fit thing. And like in person, or if I point it out to you, you can see that one is a little bit taller, but it's not a huge difference. Like to most people, they probably wouldn't be able to tell unless you put them on and you have big hands. These are just hair magnets. The yarn was a pleasure to work with. I did really like this Rambler yarn, and I have plenty left because I only used about 60 grams of yarn for this. If they're both 29 grams, it was like 58. So 60 grams of yarn if you count a little extra, you know. I still have plenty of the orange one and then a good amount of the green one. I could knit the reverse mitts, and I have thought about doing that for myself. I could knit a pair of socks, and I'm super interested in knitting these as socks because Chloe from Beans and Skeins, she has this amazing video where she knit a bunch of socks from 100% wool with no nylon in them and tested out the wearability, and the Rambler ones I think did really well in that video. I don't want to spoil the video. You should definitely watch it. It's a great video. The Ramblers did really well. So I'm tempted to knit myself a pair of socks with this yarn just to see how they wear. Okay, I've been rambling about these for too long. I'm going to move on to my festive whips. I have 3 festive whips to show y'all today. Let's start off with the most festive one. This is actually the only one that is like Christmas themed. These are a pair of vanilla socks, and I am knitting this in a sock set that was dyed by Woolly Owl Fibers, and she sent these to me. She's a viewer of the channel, and she asked if she could send me some sock yarn, and I said yes, and this is what she sent me. It is called Christmas Butter Cookies. I think these are really cute. And they actually match my Christmas pajamas pretty spot on. So I'm excited to finish these and wear them with my Christmas pajamas on Christmas. I cast this on after a stressful weekend, and this was great for me. I think I got to the heel in like 2 days, and then I set them aside because I wanted to take a photo of them before I started the heel flap and gusset. Did I mention the pattern? I'm just using Summer Lee's like basic vanilla, I'm So Basic sock is what she calls it. And I used a German cast on. That's the only thing differently. I mean, I've knit so many socks at this point that I know how to knit the socks. So I'm kind of just, you know, knitting off the cuff, if you will. Not a ton to say about that, I guess. I mean, they're just, I don't know. I just really needed something. I feel like the older I get, the less excited I am about Christmas. Maybe that's because I don't have kids, but less excited about it than I used to be. I feel like the socks are helping. The socks and me decorating my house helped a little bit. I'm feeling a little bit more festive. The weather is not helping though. The weather is not helping. Thank you again, Heather, for sending me this beautiful sock set. It was very sweet of you. I'm also holding this in my go-to sock bag. This is my Delaque small snap. It is filthy. I take this everywhere with me and I throw it in my bag, and I don't know what this is. It's a mystery something. It's probably like a chocolate cupcake, to be honest. I don't need it to be Christmas to eat sweets. So yeah, this is my little Delaque snap case. It's always in my links down below. I have like a little affiliate link section, and this is always there if you're interested. It's linked in my description. It's actually always linked in my description. I have like a little affiliate link section, and I always put my favorite sock bag in that section. So it's there. Next up is my Lana vest. And if you are thinking, you know, that it's been a while since I've talked about it, it has. And that's because I ripped out my original Lana vest that I was knitting with Lions brand Fisherman's Wool. I am now knitting it with Quince & Co. Osprey in the color Wasabi. This yarn is definitely looking so much better than the Fisherman Wool was in this pattern. I just felt like the cables were not popping, and especially this like center motif of these like, what do you call these, diamonds? They just look more defined than they did with the fisherman wool. I'm actually knitting this as a buddy knit with my friend Tashi from Stitches and Starlight on YouTube. They are a lot faster than I am, so I think that they already joined in the round and I'm still working on my front panel, but I think I can catch up. It is a knit that I love to knit. I love knitting this. I really love cables. I think cables are probably my favorite thing to knit. I know that they're like time consuming and they require focus, so it's great to have multiple projects so that when I want to knit something a little bit more mindless, I can, but I really love having something with cables on the needles. So it was my original plan to knit the Lana vest like months ago for our knit along that I hosted with Liz from Love of Fibers. We did like a fall for vest knit along. I'm like blanking on my own knit along name, but I was supposed to knit this. I started with that fisherman's wool and I did not like it. I didn't love it. Like it was okay, but I was just like not excited about it. And I'm really, really glad that I made the switch. This is a festive knit to me because it's green. If you have been watching, you know that I'm a little bit on a green kick. So that's not like really a very good excuse for something to be festive. But for me, I don't know, this just feels festive and I need this to be festive, okay? Please. I am 14 hours and 23 minutes into this project, and this is how far I am. The last knit that I'm going to talk about today is a beanie, and it was actually my birthday cast on. That is a term that I learned here on YouTube, but while watching other knitting YouTubers as they talk about like a birthday cast on. I liked that idea a lot, so I decided to cast something on for my birthday. Even though I have plenty of whips, I did not need to cast something on. So I cast on the Hidden Scraps beanie, and this is the way that it looks right now while I'm knitting it. And you're probably like, whoa, that's different. And not that this wouldn't be cute, but this beanie is a design by Haley Carter. Let me double check. That's her name. I'm pretty sure it is. Wow. Okay, I was right. Her name is Haley Carter, and this is the Hidden Scraps beanie. What you do is you knit the parts of the beanie that you don't see when you fold the brim over with scrap yarn. And that is what I'm doing here because I only bought one skein of this precious green yarn. So I want to make sure that I can make a nice size beanie. And let me flip it over so you'll kind of get the gist of what it'll look like when it's done. So when it's done, the idea is that you're not going to see the brown yarn. You would just see the green yarn without using all of your green yarn. If you've ever tried to make a triple fold beanie with one skein of yarn, it's, I think, like a little bit too short. I think my beanies usually are like 110 grams. So it's like a tragic amount short because it's like now you have to buy a second skein. Unless they're 50 gram skeins, then it's not so bad. But if you have to buy two 100 gram skeins, then it just feels like really, I don't know, just like a shame to have to buy two skeins of yarn for a beanie. So that's why I chose her pattern, the Hidden Scraps beanie. I think it's a great pattern and I have one. Let me go grab it because I want to show you that one so you can see what it'll look like when it's done. This is my other Hidden Scraps beanie that I made, and if you unfold it, this one I kind of did weird because I was doing weird things, but anyways, it looks like this, and you can see that I use this scrap yarn and then I just use the pink yarn, my main yarn. And I do have like a smidge left of this pink yarn. Yeah, this is my best fitting beanie. It's my favorite shaped beanie. And that's why I decided to just cast on another one. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I feel like it's too small, but it's the same size. But I do this quite a bit when I knit beanies. It's like I freak out the entire time that they're either going to be too big or too small. And then usually they're fine. It feels too small to me, but I haven't blocked it, right? So I'm hoping that it's gonna grow. I don't know, but I'm gonna be worried about it until I'm done with it. It's just part of knitting beanies to me. I think maybe that's why I prefer socks, because I'm like never worried about socks fitting. I always know they're gonna fit. This is a really, really quick knit. It's been going by really fast. I haven't been timing this one or my socks. I have been timing my Lana vest. I started timing my knits, and I feel like it's really, really nice to time your knits and like put a number on how long things took me. But it is also nice to have projects that you're not timing if you're timing some of your projects. I allowed myself to not time this and my vanilla socks so that I can knit them and not have to worry about starting my timer when I'm knitting them. I forgot to mention what this beautiful green yarn is. So this green yarn I'm so excited about about is like one of my favorite purchases that I made from Rhinebeck. It is the Shanico DK base by Fiber MacGyver in the color Emerald. And it is a gorgeous, bright color. And I'm just really embracing my love for color right now. And I know that that has been mostly green this year, but you know what? I'm embracing one color at a time. In the summer it was blue, in the fall, winter it's been green. And I'm just gonna keep going with whatever is inspiring me to knit with more color. Just having this out is making me wanna knit with it. I have my Ravelry queue open and we're gonna go through it together. I recently redid my stash, and when I redid my stash, I decided that I was only going to put things in my queue that I have yarn for and I'm planning to cast on. So I separated my yarn by what was in my queue versus what was in my stash. And so now I have a lot of yarn that's just designated stash yarn, and like I don't have to think about what I'm gonna knit with it. It's just there for when I'm ready and I need something to look through or like ideas. So now my queue is very, very clean. I only have 6 items and they're all garments. I've kind of stacked them in order of how I want to knit them, but that may change. So these 6 items are things that I have ready to go and I can cast on tomorrow if I wanted to. And that's just how I'm going to keep it. So in my number 1 spot, I have the Traveler, and this is a pattern by Andrea Mowry, and I am going to knit it with my sap green Pearl Soho Widgeon. I wanted to knit this pattern as part of the Granola Girl Cal that Handmade by Gib is hosting, and that is going to be taking place January 7th through March 7th. I am planning on casting that on around that time. And this is the Widgeon, the Pearl Soho Widgeon. It's 100% fine Falkland Merino in the color sap green. I know. Yeah, you're here. Next up in my queue is the Sophisticable Cardigan by Veronica Lindberg. And this is a pattern that I want to knit with my Kelburn Wools Scout. And that is this beautiful like mint green marled, well, maybe not mint green, but like there's like multiple greens in here. It's an absolutely beautiful yarn. And I'm really excited. When I got this, I envisioned knitting an all over cable cardigan, but I will say that the pearl jacket is also something that I may keep in the back of my mind if I swatch for this and it doesn't work out or something. The pearl jacket is another pattern that I feel like would look really, really pretty in this yarn. So those are my 2 options for this. But I have put the Sophisticable Cardigan in my queue as a placeholder so that I know that this is kind of like second in my list of things that I want to cast on. I also have a sweater here that I have been wanting to knit for Mr. Cheek. I originally wanted to knit this for him for Christmas, but there's no way that's going to happen. But it's just, I wanted to put it in my queue. I have the yarn for it. It's Sunness Garn, Pure Ghent, and I need to remind myself that I am promising him that I'm going to knit him a sweater, so that's in there for that reason. But he did just get a pair of mittens, so, you know, I'm not like in too much of a rush, but it would be nice to start it and finish it this season so that he can wear it. I mean, it's like only the beginning. It's not even winter technically yet, right? So we have, you know, a whole nother 3 months of colder weather. So potentially, maybe I could knit this for him this season would be great. That would be really, really great. So those are my top 3 things that I would like to get done this season, or at least start this season. Now we're moving into more springtime knits that I've been planning, and one of them is the Cardigan Roma by Mochi Knits, and I am going to be knitting this in the Wandering Flock Fluff in the color Celadon. Is that how you say that? And this is an absolutely gorgeous pattern. It's been in my like favorites for a long time, and I've just been desperately searching for yarn for it. And I've looked at the yarn that she designed the pattern in, and I just didn't love the color selection. But while I was at a woolen affair, as part of the Rhinebeck weekend this year, I found the Wandering Flock, which I had known about, and I've actually shopped this yarn before, put it in my cart, hypothetically, for this pattern, but I didn't make the plunge to buy it until I felt it in person, and I was like, wow, I need this. So this is that really fluffy yarn. So this is something that I feel like will probably be something I cast on maybe in the spring. It's giving spring for some reason. That's my plan. I'm very, very excited about it. Next up in my queue, I have the Traveler's Shell by Andrea Mowry, and I am planning to knit that in some yarn I also picked up from Rhinebeck, and that is Green Mountain Spinnery. And I've shown this on the channel before, and it was also not great lighting. And I feel like this looks so dark, and it does. It looks really dark in person inside when it's dark, but in the sunlight, it is a really, really pretty green color. But this is definitely lower on the totem pole. I feel like this is more of a springtime knit for me, so I won't be, Peaches, I won't be knitting this like anytime soon, but maybe end of winter, beginning spring. We'll see. We'll see how much I'm knitting this season. Okay, last up is something completely new to the channel, and this is Broom by Andrea Mowry. So I picked up yarn for this project from the SoCal Fiber Fair, which I totally meant to like put a vlog together of me going to that, and then I kind of just, honestly, I just forgot. And then by the time I was like, oh, I filmed some of that, it was like too late, because I feel like you kind of have to do those things like relatively quickly for them to be relevant, and I just honestly forgot. But I did go to the SoCal Fiber Fair this year. It's my third time in a row going, and I had a blast. I went with my mom. I wasn't planning on buying much because I spent way too much money on Rhinebeck. So I did pick up a sweater's quantity though, and that is because I found this yarn. It's by Adara Fiber Art, and it is called Fat Fluff. And that's honestly one of the reasons that I was like, I have to have this yarn. It's a hilarious name. And this is it's a thick Surrey. And I feel like it's really, really similar to what Andrea Mowry knit her sample in. The color is like spot on. The yarn that she uses is Farmer's Daughter's Fiber, and it's 246 yards. This is 246 yards. So it's like the same yardage per grams. I am planning to knit that sweater. My mom also bought the same thing to knit the same sweater. So buddy knit with my mom next year. But yeah, this color is like a very emeraldy color, but I think it leans more blue. In my opinion, it leans more blue. So yeah, that's my queue. That's everything in my queue right now. So when I organized my stash, I decided I was going to prioritize garments over smaller accessories, just because I feel like that's just easier on my brain. And like when I'm ready to knit an accessory, usually I don't really have an exact plan. I just have yarn. I'm like, this is going to be a beanie. This is going to be a sock. For the most part, this is kind of just like what's in my queue and what's on my mind. Okay, well, it's perfect timing. My camera is telling me to wrap it up because it's dying apparently, so I need to stop. Thank you so much for watching my winter's plan video, and I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye.